You're listening to Arirang Radio's Wonders of Jeju. This is a segment where we tell you about the lives of people living right here on the island. I'm your host, DJ Jamie. This is Humans of Jeju. Jay.
Yes. Hi.
Welcome into the studio.
Thank you.
You're looking very, how should I say, energized today.
Really?
Yeah.
I am very energized.
And you just mentioned you're exercising every day. I think that's why you are full of energy.
No, I mean, I'm not exercising that hard, but yeah. I mean, I do feel energized.
Okay.
And I think it has to do with the weather too. I mean.
Oh, you like the warmer weather?
I like the warmer weather than the colder weather. Yeah.
I see.
And the sun is up longer, so you do more stuff outside, more activities.
Is summer your favorite season?
Yeah, sort of.
Sort of.
Well, not summer-wise, but maybe spring, like just early summer, like before it gets really hot.
Right now.
Yeah, right now. It's like the perfect weather
the
right
wonder.
now. I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Everybody's saying hello to you.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Yes.
All right. So I'm really kind of looking forward to today's introduction.
Yes, of course. And we have a very interesting person today. Do you like drinking tea?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
I think everybody knows that right now.
I've always thought tea was something very sophisticated. Like you have to have a lot of understanding and you have to know about it before you can drink it.
Right.
But today's Human of Jeju actually really tells you a lot. Like it's not, you don't have to think of it very difficult. So we got a story about that.
All right. Well, let's find out who's the guest today.
Okay. So let's listen to today's Human of Jeju first.
Okay.
반갑습니다. 저는 모루 농장에서 차농사를 열심히 짓고 있는 차농부 김맹찬입니다. 농업을 시작하고 하면서는 차농업을 선택했고요. 그 기간이 지금 한 17년 된 것 같아요. 농업 선택하기 이전에 일을 하고 있는데 좀 뭔가 가슴이 답답해 오는 느낌이 있었고요. 그래서 가만히 제 자신을 돌아다 본 거죠. 내가 과연 뭘 하고 싶었었지? 근데 문득 떠올랐던 게 내가 한 10살 때쯤에 부모님하고 같이 이렇게 들판을 걷다가 그 들판 들녘에 펼쳐져 있는 제주 밭들의 모습을 보면서 그 막연했지만 나도 이런 곳에서 농업을 하면서 이렇게 살고 싶다. 그 생각이 문득 떠오르는 거예요. 그 순간부터는 얼른 그곳으로 가야 될 건데.
All right. Can you please explain what he says?
Yes. So today we introduce CEO. He's a farmer, and his name is Kim Maengchan, who runs a tea farm named Moru Farm. As today's Human of Jeju CEO Kim Maengchan decided to become a farmer, he selected to cultivate tea leaves and has been doing it for 17 years now.
Yeah.
He actually told us a short story of how he came to decide on becoming a farmer. So before becoming a farmer, he was doing a different type of job, but felt like something was bothering him about the job. Like, he was feeling very stuffy about it. Right. So that was when he felt like he had to kind of look back at himself and even look back at his life. And that's when he remembered his past when he was 10 years old. He was walking the fields of Jeju with his parents and seeing the farms of Jeju. He actually dreamed about wanting to run a farm himself. So when that memory came back to him, that was when he decided to start farming right away.
Wow. Okay, now the kind of like a turning point in his life, right? So there are various crops that you can grow in Jeju, but is there a reason why today's guest Kim Maengchan chose to grow tea leaves?
So it wasn't that he had a big interest in tea at first. He just wanted to actually build a farm, like any crop.
I see.
But while deciding on a crop that he wanted to grow a crop that could be somewhat helpful to the Jeju economy. And at the time, tangerine or citrus was the main crop of Jeju.
Right.
But he felt like if everyone just raised one crop and it becomes the only crop being focused like for too long, it could actually become undervalued in the market.
Right.
So he considered about the crops that could be an alternative of like tangerine and citrus in the future. And one of the crops that were being considered to be grown around Jeju Island at the time was the green leaf green tea leaves.
Wow.
And that was how he thought about raising green tea.
Wow. So he could have actually turned into a strawberry farmer or an avocado farmer, but he finally decided to be a green leaf tea farmer. And I'm so happy he did because I love green tea.
Okay. I don't know how you came up with strawberry and avocado, but
because
sure.
I've actually thought about it.
Okay.
Okay, but I believe the green tea farms of Jeju are now well known around the nation and abroad. And then since when has Jeju been raising green tea leaves? Can you tell us?
So Osolok is a famous green tea farm on Jeju Island.
And a lot of people only know that place.
Right. A lot of people know about it. And there's a lot of people visiting the place also. Actually, they were the first to harvest green tea in Jeju. And they started more than 40 years ago, he mentioned.
That's so.
So that would be a big company running a large farm. But when small farm owners began to consider about raising green tea was around 2015, he said. And that was when Jeju's self-governing government, they kind of designated green tea as alternative crop.
Oh, they did.
And they provided education.
So they promoted it actually.
Right. So they provided education, information, and training for those who wish to cultivate green tea.
I see. That's interesting. Yeah.
And that was how he joined in as well.
Oh, that's when he found out about that as well. So is Jeju Island an ideal place to cultivate green tea?
Well, let's listen from Kim Maengchan first.
녹차의 일반적인 특성인데요. 일단 비가 많이 오는 곳을 좋아하고 따뜻한 곳을 좋아하고 토양에서는 배수가 좋은 곳. 이 세 가지 조건을 맞추면 차나무는 잘 성장합니다. 이건 세계 어느 곳이든. 그럼 제주가 과연 그 조건을 맞추고 있는 지역인가 이걸 감안하는 건데 연 강수량이 한 1800, 2000까지 가잖아요. 특히나 봄철에 많은 비가 필요로 하는데 제주에는 이제 고사리 장마라고 해서 또 봄철에도 계속 비가 오거든요. 한 연중 한 1000mm 봄에 내리는 것 같아요. 그 조건이면 비로서는 엄청난 혜택을 받는 거고요. 그 다음에 따뜻하잖아요. 제주는 따뜻하고 또 토양 자체도 물을 머금진 않거든요. 그 많은 비들을 다 지하로 침투시키잖아요. 녹차가 그런 환경을 되게 좋아해서 육지부나 아니면 다른 세계 다른 곳하고 비교해봐도 전혀 손색가 없는 지역이죠.
So it sounds like he's positive about the situation.
Yes, and this was interesting for me too because I never knew about this anyways. So he mentions in general there's 3 characteristics of green tea that you have to consider in order for them to grow well. First is that they grow well in places where it rains a lot.
Right.
Second, he talked about the temperature has to be warm temperature. And third, the ground has to be able to drain the water very well. So if these 3 conditions are fulfilled, the green tea plants will grow well.
I see.
So considering if Jeju fits those conditions or not, the annual amount of rainfall in Jeju is about 1,800 to 2,000 millimeter a year. And especially in spring when more rain is needed, in Jeju we have something called 고사리 장마. And that's a period of time when it rains very often. So that is one condition that Jeju has a very strong advantage in. Then also Jeju is a warm place, which no doubt about. So that matches the second condition. And lastly, the ground of Jeju doesn't bear water, meaning that the water is well soaked and sunk underground.
Right.
So considering all these 3 conditions, we can say that there's no reason why Jeju can't grow green tea as well as or even better than any other places in mainland or worldwide.
That's really interesting to kind of hear the background information about green tea and how Jeju can be a very good place to cultivate that.
If you are in Jeju,
88.7 in Jeju City.
88.1 in Seogwipo City.
101.9 in the Daejeong area.
Arirang Radio.
Today we're introducing CEO farmer Kim Maengchan of green tea farm Moru in Jeju Island. And we talked about how Kim Maengchan started cultivating green tea and how Jeju Island is an ideal place to raise green tea. But I'm also curious to know, what is a year cycle of cultivating green tea like?
Yeah, so since green tea plants are like other bushes and tree plants, it's easy to understand the cycle if you just think of it as an ordinary tree, like ordinary tree cycle. So like general trees, green plant they begin to bud in spring as well. Then in summer, the leaves begin to blossom, and in fall, another leaves blossom. So in Korea, according to the environment, in relation to the environment, the time cycle of new sprouts is spring, summer, and fall. Mm-hmm. And in winter, when the weather is cold, is when the tree kind of goes to sleep.
I see. So as I understand, according to the season when the leaves are picked, the name of the trees differ. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah. So with leaves, so when the leaves are picked in spring teas are made. In summer, semi-fermented teas that suits the season is made. And in fall, black tea or blending teas are made.
I see.
So according to the season, all these new types of teas are made. Mm-hmm. So understanding the characteristics of the leaves according to the seasons, different types of teas are made, and that's how they do it.
Right. And you know what? Actually, I did go here and I was able to see the farm and also experience the tea explaining that the owner gave. And I was actually introduced by you graduated from the same university that I did.
Yes.
And you graduated from interpretation and translation exactly as I did. And so right now I have a hube.
Okay.
Whose parents actually are part of this corporation.
Oh, really?
And so
wow.
I kind of was introduced to it from her. And that's how we had this you go and interview today's guest.
Right.
So anyhow, it's really nice to also learn the background information. But what you're saying actually means even if they are the same leaves from the same plant, depending on how the leaves are treated, it becomes a green tea or black tea. And I think a lot of people don't actually know that.
Yeah, I never knew that. I thought
a lot of people think they're separate things.
Yeah, I thought green teas were just green teas.
Right.
but I was told that out of the tea leaves from the plant, there's actually 6 types of teas that can be made from the leaves. And out of those, the most familiar teas are like you mentioned, green tea and black tea. So according to the way in which the teas was processed, the tea can be green tea, black tea, white tea, and the names are easily given according to the color of the tea. So like if you look at the green tea, it's really green.
So it's very simple. It comes from a very simple phenomenon. That's
simple.
Interesting, right? So it's like the more we know, the more fun it is. So now, can you tell us more about the Moru 농장 that we're talking about, the farm that CEO Kim Maengchan is running?
Yeah, so Moru 농장, the green tea farm, is located in the Gashiri village of Pyoseon area of Seogwipo City. And along with 4 other young friends who dreamed of farming, they actually built an agricultural association corporation, which in the beginning was named 초록빛.
I see.
The meaning of the name 초록빛 was that it was the key word representing organic, ecology, and eco-friendly.
Right.
So the 5 friends got together to build the association with a dream of making an eco-friendly agriculture in Jeju. And the main crop for their organic farm was to plant green tea plants. So at the time, they started out with 1,000 pyong, which is 82 acres, planting tea plants. And from 4 to 5 years, it was a difficult time for them because the plants had to be raised for at least 5 years.
Takes a while before they actually...
Yes, they can be harvested.
Right.
And
5 years.
So for that period of time, they actually had no earnings.
Wow.
So in reality, it was very hard for them to remain, and some went back to their, original works or something else. And actually, Kim Maengchan, along with 1 or 2 members, they stayed to continue running 초록빛 Jeju.
I'm so glad that they did.
And that was when they started doing education programs relating to eco-friendly farming. And the new sign they built was 초록 모루. And they ran the program for 3 years. Then they moved their farm to a new area in Gashiri. And that was when they changed their name to Moru 농장. And continuing to run the eco-friendly farm with the hopes that organic methods of farming would not harm the environment.
Right. And if you have an opportunity to go here, you'll actually find like beautiful horses in front of the tea farms and other animals that live with them together. So what is the meaning, though, of 모루 농장?
So Moru is Jeju language.
Okay.
And in official Korean language, it means 산마루.
산마루.
Which means the ridge of a mountain. Or here in Jeju, we use Moru for small mountains
Like
and
the
hills.
autumns?
Yeah, sort of. But like the hills, we would
Uh-huh.
say, we would call them moru.
So maybe like something smaller than an autumn would be moru?
I guess so.
Okay.
Actually, I learned this
Oh,
through
all
the
right.
interview.
Through the interview. I see.
I'll ask my grandmother next time I see her.
All right. I've actually been here, as I was mentioning, and I know that unless you go to Moru 농장 after searching for it, it's actually in a very hidden area. You might think like you're in the wrong road until you actually get there. And it had a very different atmosphere compared to other green tea farms.
You're right. Actually, farmer Kim Maengchan pursues being able to run the farm for a long period of time, then having many people coming to visit the farm. So he's not. His motive's not about making like this tourist attraction.
Right, I see.
So what he pursues is to be able to work hard in the daytime and enjoy the tea that he likes in the afternoon, not having to be chased by, having to always work. Since there are people who visit knowing his pursuit and wanting to enjoy a cup of tea as well, he also runs a tea room as well.
And that is a very lovely place, by the way. So Moru Tea Room that Moru 농장 runs. And if you visit the website, we actually posted something on our Instagram account so you can go and find out more information. It really makes you want to visit and enjoy a cup of tea. And that's how I actually went there and I enjoyed a cup of tea and I looked around the farm. It was absolutely lovely. And they have a program of drinking tea. So can you tell our listeners about this program?
So actually, CEO farmer Kim Maengchan is someone who likes to break down the biased opinion that people have about tea. So in order to make a cup of tea, people think there's various difficult ways and methods using many tools to make tea. But he likes to think that is not all that important. He likes to share with people that tea is something we can enjoy comfortably. For example, by just putting a tea leaf in a cup filled with water. So this way, those who feel tea is very difficult to learn, they actually begin to enjoy it more easily.
Right. So these are like just fresh leaves.
Yes.
And he just drops them into a cup of water, hot, warm water. And it actually changes the taste of the water.
You tasted it,
Yeah,
right?
I tasted it. And it
How
was
was it?
absolutely delicious, I have to say. But it was like an eye-opener to change your mindset about tea, that it is not difficult and it is just nature in front of you.
Are you ready?
Every day's K-pop.
Listen up.
Anytime and everywhere.
Arirang Radio.
Arirang Radio.
Hey Jay, we
Yes.
got a comment coming in, and it was by a listener named Kim Ye-jun, who wrote it in Korean, so I'll translate it for you, all right?
Okay.
It says, 녹차 맛있게 먹는 법 알려주세요. 티 프로그램을 해본 결과 바로 딴 차잎을 우려서 마시는 것, 그게 최고인 듯. 그러면 농장을 가시는 게 크크크. Would you like to translate it?
No, I did not understand what you were saying.
Okay, so it says, please tell us how to enjoy green tea. After doing the tea program, I put the tea leaves right into the water and drank it, or actually before going on the tea program. And that was the best that I tried. And then you should go to the farm if you can. So yeah, 감사합니다, 김예준 씨. Thank you for your comment. And I would say, I really enjoyed tasting just the water and the leaves on top of it as well, rather than the traditional tea.
Right.
But I think what really matters is to really try to just accept the taste as it is.
Like naturally.
Just experiencing
Right.
is important, and just letting all of your thoughts go and just kind of focusing on your drink and then just letting yourself relax. And it's actually very meditating.
Yes.
Yeah. And everybody has a
also-
different style of taste that they like.
That's
I'm sorry,
true too.
what were you trying
no,
to say?
I was going to mention that his farm, the Moru 농장, it's all organic as
Yes,
well. So
yes.
yeah, so
That's
I could
what's
imagine just
important.
putting the leaf right into the hot water and drinking it.
Exactly.
That sounds good.
Exactly. So we're talking about Moru 농장 green tea farm and the Moru tea room, which you can also enjoy experiencing a different way of enjoying tea. But also, I heard that there is a tea making program with the tea farmer as well, where you can pick the leaves.
Yes, and let's listen about the program from farmer Kim Maengchan first.
차 만들기인데 차 만드는 과정도 사실 그냥 요리하는 거 같거든요. 막 밥 짓는 거, 뭐 김치찌개 하는 거, 라면 끓이는 거하고 똑같아요. 파를 따서 만드는 과정이 제가 생각했던 거하고는 굉장히 다르고 해보니까 너무 편하고 쉬워, 재미있어. 이렇게 만들어진 차라면은 이 느낌으로 나는 차를 마실 수 있어. 이게 사실 핵심이거든요. 우리 뭐 이렇게 막 어려운 말들 있잖아. 구중구포 해야 되고 막 이런 거 살청하고 유념하고 살청 뭐예요? 유념 뭐예요? 막 계속 물어봐야 되고. 근데 그런 것들을 배제하고 내가 만들어서 그냥 내가 요리하는 거예요. 다른 차 맛과는 다르지만 이런 과정에서 이런 차가 나오는 거구나. 그럼 거기서 좀 더 맛있게 이런 것들은 숙제로 남아있죠. 좀 더 맛있게 하면 어떻게 해야 되지? 그런 건 있겠죠. 좀 더 모양을 예쁘게 하려면 좀 더 향기를 키우려면 어떤 것들 그런 궁금증을 갖고서 저는 대답해 주면서 그걸 체험해 보는 거죠.
You know what? Paulina says beautiful voice, but I agree.
Yes, he's
And
got
I'm
a very
also-
calm, like very nice voice.
Right. Can you explain what he says?
So he mentions making tea is like cooking. It's just like making rice, kimchi-jjigae, and even cooking ramyeon. So I guess everyone can do it now.
Green tea and ramyeon.
I can cook a ramyeon, so I'm going to try it next time. So
Okay.
the focus of the program is to help people feel that making tea is easy and fun, from picking the leaves and processing them. To make it easy and fun for people, although there's very difficult techniques with difficult names, he leaves them out and helps people feel more as if they're cooking their own ingredient. But doing so, of course, it may seem different from other teas, but through it, people are left to think about how they can make it taste better next time, or how they can make it smell better, or how I can make it look different. And through the experience program, he helps to answer those questions that people bring up.
Well, then can you explain the order of how the program is run?
So first you pick the tea leaves, then you ferment the leaves, and he explains about the taste that comes from fermenting the leaves, and what it tastes like if you don't ferment them.
I see.
Then you rub and mix the leaves. From it, he explains about the shapes that are made from the rubbing and mixing, and about how much you have to rub and mix to create certain taste. So the program is learning the process and being able to make the process, as if it's your own. So there is really no answer to making tea. Like you can make your own tea.
Right, and that's what I like about the way that he explains that. So for CEO Kim Maengchan, what is the charm of tea that he explains?
Let's listen to what he said.
내가 매일 세수를 해요. 근데 세수하면 내가 왜 세수하지? 그런 생각 합니까? 안 하잖아요. 근데 왜 세수? 따지고 보면은 반드시 해야 되는 건데도 불구하고 내가 의식적으로 생각하면 세수하는 건 아니에요. 근데 어느새 나도 모르게 아침에 눈 뜨면 마음도 맑게 하고 얼굴도 곱게 하고 이런 생각 있잖아요. 몸과 마음을 깨끗하게 하는 상징적인 행위잖아요. 세수라는 게. 손 씻고 세수하는 게. 차도 그렇게 돼버렸어요. 마음의 세수.
마음의 세수.
Yes. So for Kim Maengchan, tea is like washing your heart,
Okay.
like, making it clean.
All right.
So he gave an example, like every day we wash our face, but when we do so, we don't really think about why we do it, right? But if we think about it, it's something we must do, but do it kind of without thinking about
Right.
it. And in return, when you wake up in the morning, your mind feels clear and your face is even clean when you wash them. And like that, drinking tea helps you clean the body and your heart as well.
And I guess you can also think of it as him drinking tea as if it is washing face for him because it's something he has to
Right.
do every day and he doesn't really think about it. And so for him, it's just part of his life. That's also a way that I think we can think about this. Well, that's very interesting. So you mentioned that Moru 농장 is cultivated in an eco-friendly way, which I think is very authentic. Is there a reason why they decided to do it in an eco-friendly way?
Yes, and first of all, he thinks very importantly about the concept of organic and ecology. He thinks that farming has changed from the past. Before, farming was just considered as an activity providing people with food, but now farming has become more than that. In a sense that farming is now also a way of taking care of the nature as well, he thinks.
Taking care of the nature at the same time. All right. Well, that's really interesting. Before I ask you our last question, earlier we read a message from Kim Ye-jun saying 녹차 맛있게 먹는 법 알려주세요. But then later on, Kim Ye-jun also said that 그냥 티백 인스턴트 녹차만 먹어봤네요, which means like Kim Ye-chan has only tried the tea bag tea.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people are the same.
Same here.
Are you?
Yes,
so you've never
I've
had.
always really had the tea bags before.
So you never tried green tea from the loose leaves?
Well, actually, I have. I've tried it, but like before, like it was always those bags, those instant bags that I tried.
So I have to say to our listeners, our camellias, that the reason I like tea is because it is the tea from the leaves, not from the tea bags, because it's totally different.
It's different.
So if you ever have the opportunity to, please come to Jeju Island and taste the green tea made from the leaves, and you'll learn a totally different taste from those tea bags.
Yes.
All right. Well, lastly, here's my last question for you. This is our official question that we always ask our humans of Jeju. What is the travel course around Jeju that Kim Maengchan recommended for our listeners?
And let's listen first.
제주도에 10가지 볼 수 있는 게 있다. 제일 아름다운 풍습이 있는데 이게 사실 뭐 색다른 건 아니고요. 그러니까 하루에 아침에 눈 뜨고 해질 때 이 모습만 감상하더라도 즐겁다. 제주에서. 대표적으로 하는 게 뭐 성산 일출을 가라, 사라봉 낙조를 가고, 옛날 사람들은 그랬다. 그래서 하루에 10가지 중에서 하루 2가지는 느낄 수 있다. 그래서 그러니까 일출과 일몰을 하루 봤으면, 제주에서 봤으면, 그건 어디에서든, 여기 따라비 오르면서 봐도 되고요, 저쪽 표선 앞바다에서 봐도 되고요. 그렇게 하면 의미가 좀 달라질 거라고 봐요. 그 다음에 계절별로 하나씩, 그렇죠? 봄, 여름, 가을, 겨울 해서 내가 보면 이런 거 꼭 보고 싶다. 가을에 왜 귤림추색이라 귤꽃 이렇게 보는 것들이 있었잖아요. 근데 지금은 뭐 대표적으로 녹차밭을 해도 좋겠죠. 봄에는 녹차밭 전역을 돌아가라. 그들이 어떻게 살고 있는지, 어떻게 키우고 있는지, 거기서 나는 차 맛은 어떤지. 몇 시간 안 들일 거니까 봄에 한번 그런 여행 더 좋지 않을까?
Please explain.
Yeah, so one recommendation he talks about is going to see the sunrise and the sunset. And main place to enjoy are like the Seongsan Sunrise Peak and Sarabong Sunset Observatory. But he recommends actually seeing them in other places around Jeju as well. Anywhere, like Tarabi-orum or Pyosan Seashore. And you'll get a kind of different feeling about it at the same time. Also, he recommends selecting one thing to see and feel according to season. So by like spring, summer, fall, and winter, maybe you can select one. Like in fall, you'll be seeing the colors of tangerines around the island. And for spring, maybe you want to visit the green tea plant farms to see how the teas live and they're raised.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much for bringing in such an interesting human today as well. And we'll see you again next week.
Yes, next week. Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that segment. If you're curious to find out more about Jeju, we encourage you to go check out our website at arirangradio.com/Wonders of Jeju. Or you can check out our Facebook page at Wonders of Jeju, as well as our Instagram page at Wonders of Jeju. We're going to take you on a journey to learn more about what's happening here on the island.